Welcome to Tech Talks with Nasscom Insights. I am Vandhna Babu. Over the past decade, India has emerged as one of the fastest growing economies in the world and is set to become the third largest in the world before the end of this decade. With a growing young population and massive digital transformation, Indian government announced the Digital India initiative to not only encourage its citizens to increase digital adoption, but also transform the economy into a digitally empowered one. Fueled by the initiative, the foundation of this digital revolution has been strengthened by the Digital Public Infrastructure or DPIs, or as we know as India Stack, enhancing the ability of the country to use digital technologies at a population scale to change the society. DPIs form the cornerstone to shape this tech-ade and ultimately drive the India at 47 growth path. The DPIs are spread across various sectors, including solutions across education, logistics, agriculture, etc., such as NDL, FASTag, DigiLocker, and platforms such as Cowin, Bhashini, etc. DPIs such as Aadhaar, GSTN, UPI, and public goods such as Beacon, Sunbird, and others. With Arthur D Little, Nasscom recently released a report titled India's Digital Public Infrastructure, Accelerating India's Digital Inclusion. To delve deeper into the subject, we have Mr. Brajesh Singh, President India from Arthur D Little. Welcome, Brajesh.
Thank you, Vandhna.
So, Brajesh, I'll start the discussion right away. So, the first question that I wanted to ask was that why was there a need for this DPI approach? And what was the need for this groundbreaking framework, and how is it different from the previous frameworks? And also, why was this partnership needed between the government entities and the private tech and all the other stakeholders also to be involved?
Right. Yeah. So I think before I begin responding to your questions, let me congratulate the Nasscom team and thank you for the collaboration that we have set for. As you mentioned, right, this is an economy which is like going to be third largest in the world. So India it's not only tech-ade that we are talking about, we are actually seeing a horizon of 10 years down the line. But I personally believe this is going to be a century for India, and as I think everybody is now started believing into this. Why we need to have a new approach? So there are parameters. Look, so this is the area I think India has been doing a lot in digital, and if I may say, this is the era that we are living today. It's a digital era where everything in our life, digital has some or other controls. It's a digital way of life. Yeah. And I think looking at the magnitude, the quantum that we have in India in terms of population, we're the largest population in the world. Digital is actually paved the way for holistic growth. Okay, you talk about your content, education, you talk about entertainment, talking about payment gateways, banking, even Nasscom. Yeah. So you have a bodies with more than thousands of the people are member, and we have shown that we have already demonstrated to the world that is the kind of economy that we are through digital strength that we have. So I think India is clearly emerging as one of the largest economy based on digital. And as we talk about digital, obviously the digital public infrastructure DPI is at the core of everything. So there was a need to evaluate, assess everything from a different perspective. We were multiple times people have come up with the reports, but it was very essential to do a very, very vertical analysis of different direct, indirect impact that the digital has given to overall economy. So that's the whole way we have started looking into. There are three fundamental things that we found in our report primarily. One, there are multiple APIs which are part of the entire DPI universe. And then the second more important facet about it is the interoperability of everything. The database that we have. The third and very, very noble about India is this entire system is consent based. There's an OTP. So ultimately the ownership of the data lies with the consumer or the citizen, I may say. So whether it is Aadhaar or whether it is Abha or maybe any payment gateway, ultimately there is a consent of when the transaction gets completed. So we put this perspective, and that's why there's a need of different approach that we need to look forward. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you really, touched the three basic fundamental things about the trust and consent, and also the open interoperable APIs as well. So that was, definitely eye-opening. Also, there are some DPIs which were launched way back, and some of them which are, which were quite recent, which have been launched very recently. So can you, and in the report also we had talked about the maturity model. We had classified various DPIs according to the maturity of each of them. So can you share something more about the maturity model and how you classified various DPIs, and what were the parameters that we had taken?
Yeah. Okay. So this is very specific to Arthur D Little. This is our trademark. This is our copyright of maturity model that we talk about. So our maturity model works on two parameters. We look at one, what is the quantum of the demand, which is we call TAM, total opportunity market available, and we also look at how much is the potential somebody has or one function has. So based on two things as to how much is the coverage that you have and how much is the market available. So let me put some example. Aadhaar, for example. Aadhaar has been widely covered by many people. Almost everyone, every citizen in India is having Aadhaar number.
Yeah, of course.
Contrary to this, you have Abha ID, which is now healthcare. So not everybody has got Abha ID. So there are two distinguishing factors. We can just for putting an example. So Aadhaar, if I say Aadhaar is a more matured, and the total opportunity market for Aadhaar is little less because it's too much mature already. Everybody has already got an Aadhaar, and everybody has started realizing that without having an Aadhaar, I won't be, call it typically a citizen out of the country. But the same acceptance or same penetration of Abha ID is yet to be done. So what I see is Abha in terms of maturity is smaller. However, it has got total opportunity market to reach where the Aadhaar is. So this is a classic example. In our entire model of Arthur D Little's maturity model that we talk about is based upon recency, how early, how fast, and how so in terms of past also, in terms of the future also. So we have a time frame both ways. And then secondly, we also looking into how directly it is impacting and how indirectly it is impacting. So many a time there are measures for direct impact, okay, in terms of value, in terms of realization, everything that you can have, okay, this much is the money, this much is the economic growth, or this much of the advantage one has got. But many a times I think the indirect benefit are not having any measure or any tool to at least look for. Maybe it will go a little further about indirect one. If I am using a digital payment system, UPI, how much is the money or how much is the time that I am saving? So basically time with regard to the cost. If I was supposed to go and buy something from a shop rather, then I was required to go hire a rickshaw or a taxi, go there, buy stuff, and the time was also used to consume. Today, by leveraging this entire platform that we're talking about, I can save time and money both.
True.
So how much is that impact has given me savings? This is domestic saving, which is directly impacting to the overall GDP of the nation, which is mostly missed. So our model is basically covering these three key aspects.
Got it. Yeah. So, I mean, that actually is, that actually helps in understanding that how the model has been built and why certain DPIs are mature and so how certain DPIs are still budding. And
then their indirect impact also.
Yeah,
they may not give you a direct advantage in terms of saving today, but if they're saving something. So in report also covers that UPI has given a lot of saving directly to the people.
Yes.
But it is also giving a lot of savings, something around more than 4.5, 4.2 billion, as I remember the number rightly. One person is also saving around 4.5 days in a month. So if you're saving that much of time today, I think really your productivity increases.
Absolutely.
So productivity has a measure today.
Absolutely, yeah, true. So, you've talked about a little bit about numbers. So I wanted to understand that what is the overall value addition that we have seen from some of the DPIs that we have analyzed in the report. What is the value addition to GDP in 2022? And also we have done a little bit of futuristic projections as well. So if you can share some bit about, about the value addition of DPIs in 22 and to 2030 as well. And also again, if you can talk about some parameters that you have considered and included, which DPIs and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay, so I think the number as per our analysis, Vandhana, is roughly around the contribution of DPI in overall GDP is nearly 1%. To be specific, it's like 0.9% something. And I think if we go more detail and have the right informed data from the field, perhaps this will be around 1.2 something. But let's say 1% of the contribution thus far till 2020. And I'm very certain, I think the way things are happening and what we have projected, this is going to contribute roughly around 4.5% in overall GDP by exit of 2030. So by 2030, if it is going to contribute 5%, I think you can look at the magnitude that the entire DPI is going to play. And you also asked about the parameter what we did in terms of cost and value addition as to how you are doing. We have a lot of details which the report covers. Maybe it's not appropriate platform to give you more details. But in a paucity of time, I can certainly tell you we have gone through multiple functions and took the data from very reliable sources. Have also involved a couple of economists in our understanding, and then have gone through multiple level of validation before we publish the report.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. So, while we have done a detailed analysis of all the UPIs, of all the DPIs, I'm so sorry. So, there have been some use cases as well that you had considered while we were calculating the value addition. So, in case if you want to shed some light on that.
We did many, to be honest. I think there are many use cases. And we actually, as I said, our approach has been more vertical, so not on a horizontal space. But I think something which people can, fast connect with them is something like Aadhaar.
Yeah.
I just mentioned about Aadhaar a couple of times. As I said, this is a way of life. For your ID, like eKYC, Aadhaar is something. You talk about subscribing some telecom services, going to airport, getting your access to airport, anywhere. I think even to, this is like eKYC for you. Today you have the Aadhaar number for you, this is unique number for you. And this is use case why we have deliberately chosen is that there are other economies in the world who are learning from India.
Absolutely.
There's such a scale of around 1.4 billion people and then one system which connects everyone and have still exclusivity of individual data. So that is one we considered Aadhaar as a eKYC platform, more to look at how much is one use cases to be very clear about. The second we talked about FASTag. We did not really see the value of FASTag when we started launching. A lot of people had different views about it. But today you go to parking or you go on highways or anywhere. I mean, when even this was conceptualized, people were not having any idea about that this can be leveraged at a parking level also. But this talks about when a bigger picture is created, the small stakeholder also start taking advantage. So FASTag is other use case that we talked about. I think UPI does not need an introduction. So you talk about BHIM. So NPCI's model of overall payment system that we talk about, I think UPI is another case. We've also briefly touched on the CoWIN. It's a classic example, but I think it's not very relevant to talk at this level. But CoWIN, Bhashni, and many other use cases, their penetration has not been that significant, but CoWIN certainly has been great, and I think this has given a very big, loud message to the world how India is capable to cover all the people in one go. Vaccination drive was driven so effectively just because you had, that what is called Arogya app. So I think this is something that we considered. If I may say, I think I was talking about indirect benefit. All these cases that we have talked deliberately about it, they have given both direct and indirect saving to the people. So I think we have briefly covered almost all of them there.
True, absolutely.
They're not limited to only the economic value, but there is something that we have been very cautious about it, that there is more about socio-economic value.
Absolutely.
Socio-economic value in terms of your saving and beyond. But when I say there is some more aspect about ecological value also that we have covered. For example, saving of paper, saving trees, saving environment, giving employment opportunity. So all UN SDG goals that we had, so all 17, 18 point of UN SDG, that also have a significant contribution of entire DPI on achieving SDG goals as well.
Absolutely. So I mean, yeah, I mean, you've so well elucidated the direct and indirect benefits, as well as the UN SDG goals as well, and the cost and time savings obviously factor in definitely. So last question that I want to ask was that, of course, we've had a wonderful DPIs have taken through wonderful, the adoption has been amazing, but there are also some challenges in terms of some future adoption as well, and the fact that how can we take it to the next level. So what are some of the challenges that we can look into?
Okay, so I think rather saying challenges, I say opportunity or learning.
Of course, yeah.
Because this is first ever model, and I think everybody is learning. And I've been time and again talking about that. Look at the magnitude of the nation, the population, and you have so much of diversity. Something that is good about India also creates a problem for us. Bhasni, when we were doing the analysis about, we found there are multiple languages. So if I am living at a far-flung last mile of the society, I won't be even knowing the English.
True.
And then if I am down from the south, or maybe from north or from northeast, the language is bigger barrier for us. So I think these linguistic barriers are also something that we have to mitigate. And I think they have been one of the greatest learning, that it has to be more, I would say the right word is customized. So if you are in northern part of country, the languages should be very, very close to that person can adopt. So that is one barrier I think we realize. But then because see, as of now, UPI has been from government side.
The push has
been from the government. But then between the government, I think one of my personal observation is about the cross-functional or interdepartmental coordination. I will be harsh if I say there is none. But then I think gradually there has been much more traction now. Two departments talk to each other, for example. Two different utilities in this country are not talking to each other. While world has a model where water, power, utility, one person is providing. In India, you have a different water department or different power department. So how these two functions or two different departments talk to each other, correlate, cooperate, exchange data. So one is like cross-functional cooperation, coordination or interoperability in terms of your data exchange. I mentioned about data. The second big problem is about availability of the right data.
And real time, you have to keep getting the real time data.
So we have to have the real time data. One, there's no data available. And then if you have data available, then this is old data. So obviously, I think there has been a lot of standard operating procedures government has been putting forward, that you are collecting all the information. But again, I'm saying this is the way, this is a learning that we have. So availability of the right data and the right real time data. Second is something which is more important. Somehow we also believe that systemic readiness is one area where I think collectively a government has to put more focus also. And my personal belief is that you have to be more inclusive. Government has done the job which government is required to be. They have created the platform. You have to bring in private sector partnerships. You have to allow companies to come forward and participate in this entire journey. The moment you bring in private sectors, I mean bigger inclusion, the efficiencies will improve. So I think if I have to answer this in 3-4 points, because of the literacy, the language is a problem. I think as we are moving forward, literacy ratios are increasing. But again, we have to be more conducive in terms of accommodating people at the fag end of society. Then cross-functional, cross-departmental coordination in terms of understanding each other, and not to repeat the same process time and again, to save time and cost as well. And third, most importantly, set up the process where the right data, real-time data is coming, and you have private sector coming forward, and then building efficiencies.
True, absolutely. I mean, these have been some of the some of the points as well that you've shared, and so enlightening as well. So thanks a lot, Brajesh. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank
and
you,
really wonderful to have worked with you and to see this report come into picture for everybody to.
I think I must thank Nasscom, you, Achyuta and Nirmala, everyone for the support. I think it has taken a lot of efforts for all of us.
True.
But as we say, well begun is half done. But we have really done a good job.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Vandhna.
So thanks a lot. Thank you, Brajesh. Okay. So the report is also up for download in the link below. And thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thank you.